Growing up outside of the US, a biscuit to me was always a sweet, hard accompaniment to a cup of tea. The idea of the thick, scone-like bread that was served with savory foods such as chicken or eggs and sausage sounded completely bizarre. And then I had my first biscuit, and I was a complete convert. It was soft yet flaky, buttery, salty, everything I love. I'm now a devout believer in the magic of buttermilk biscuits, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Although they share a name, the American-style biscuit is very different from its English ancestor. The name is from the Old French, biscuit, meaning twice cooked, originally referring to the way the dough was cooked, then dried out to become a hard, long-lasting food, served alongside soup and eventually drinks such as tea. In the UK, scones have a similar texture and taste to American biscuits. And in Scotland, on the island of Guernsey, there are a number of popular foods such as tea cakes and soft biscuits, a bun-like bread. Settlers from various parts of Europe brought their recipes with them to the United States, and a number of biscuit varieties were being made over the states, including drop-style biscuits and a very hard type, which was portable, holding its shape even after being carried in a pocket of work pants throughout a day of labor. Tough, very dry biscuits like this were a daily food source for those who would be unable to find fresh food regularly, including people taking long journeys, like those settling further into the interior of the US, and those taking sea voyages, such as ship's merchants and the Navy. Hardtack was so tough it would often have to be soaked in liquid before being edible. These came back during times of hardship and war. They had a long shelf life and traveled well. In the American South, biscuits were first a delicacy, growing in popularity during the Civil War. With farming work being affected by the fighting and ports being blocked, ingredients were very hard to come by, especially luxury items like butter. Biscuits were then served on Sundays for a more special meal. Many variations developed using cheaper, more readily available ingredients, such as sweet potato flour. Yeast was also removed from the ingredients list of biscuits at this time. It was expensive and couldn't be transported around as needed. During the 19th century, technological improvements and scientific discoveries helped shape biscuits into their current form. Flour was able to be milled much more efficiently and into a finer, more delicate texture. This both helped the quality of the products that used flour, but it also drastically reduced the price of it. Flour was no longer an expensive commodity. It became a cheap, everyday staple that poor Southerners became dependent on for their daily food consumption. The 1800s also saw the development of chemical leavening agents, like baking soda. This is made from soda ash and was first developed in France in 1791. And soon its myriad of uses helped push its popularity all around the world. By 1864, two American bakers, John Dwight and Austin Church, had built a factory to produce Arm & Hammer brand of baking soda, selling it as everything from a baking product to help cakes rise into light and fluffy new heights to a cleaning agent to use throughout the home. This development was essential to biscuits' signature, light, flaky texture. The 20th century saw the rise of the age of convenience. Prepackaged dry mixes and canned biscuits helped the home cook lessen their workload. The first canned biscuit came out in 1931, right as refrigeration was becoming popular in upper and middle class homes throughout the country. These became extremely popular. They were a cheap and simple way housewives could serve biscuits to their family without the labor-intensive baking process. frozen, canned, and dried mixed biscuits are now sold throughout the country. Like with most bread products, biscuits seem much more intimidating than they actually are. All it takes is a few simple ingredients and a little bit of love, and they are much greater than the sum of their parts. Did you know the first biscuit cutter was patented in 1875 by an Arthur P. Ashbourne? Before that, biscuits would be cut by housewives and bakers using items they already had lying around or freehand with a knife. If you want to know more about where some of your favorite dishes come from, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode.